Hi everybody, in this episode we have a Flames of War prize up for grabs. We've got a copy of Hit the Beach that you could lay your mitts on. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe and ding our dong for your chance to win.
Hey everyone, it's time for the Weekender here on OnTableTop.com. Oh man, it's been a busy couple of weeks. Warren and Jerry, they're off exploring the universe, probably sailing on the astral plane, or as we love to call it, they're on vacation.
Pub and forest is what I'm doing. You pick who's where.
They're on vacation. Which do you prefer? Do you prefer the idea of Warren in the forest and Jerry in the pub, or both of them sailing the astral plane together?
Depends what they find in the forest and in the pub.
Astral plane it is! It's the winner! Right, we have a jam-packed show, but before we get stuck into it, you were at Battlefront last week, and so were you, Ben.
Yeah, it was absolutely great. We got to catch up with the Battlefront team, so all the latest that's happening with Flames of War 4th, what's going on with the guys from Guild Force 9, and so there was some sneaky stuff dropping out for Dune, their new game. Yes. So that's really, really exciting. Ben, what was the one that caught your eye that you were on about?
I was really liking the look of what they were doing for Alien. So there's a new Alien board game coming out. So if you haven't learned anything about that yet, go over and check that stuff out on the live blog. It was a really cool rundown of what's coming with that. Some really awesome little miniatures and everything for it as well, which is pretty cool. So go and check that one out.
Yeah, and we have a prize up for grabs for that one, which is a nice big American bundle. So all you have to do is come across to the website and drop a comment on the live blog.
Oh, nice. This Dune game, right? Yeah. It's a board game, is it?
Yep.
Was there any details about it, or is it like just the cover, or what was the crack?
So it's kind of a little bit like the original game that came out a couple of decades ago. It's where you're playing at each of the great houses, warring for control of Dune. So you'll be trying to get your hands on that melange, the spice, so that you can control your empire and stuff like that. So it's a big, full-on 4X style game where you're vying for control of areas with military units as well as diplomatic power and all that kind of thing as well. Oh. So yeah, it looks very, very cool. And as Justin was saying, new artwork and everything thrown into the mix for this one, so it looks very, very good.
Really, really pretty looking. Definitely one not to miss out on.
I'm looking forward to giving that a try because, like, when I was a kid, there's the Dune.
Yeah.
Came out on the Amiga as a real-time strategy game.
Oh! And
I played it to the max. I hadn't even heard of Dune before the game came out, and I was like, what is this? I have to know more about this. And then, of course, I discovered the movie and the books and stuff afterwards.
Yeah, I kind of have to admit my shame on this
one. If it gives me that feeling at all, I'll be like, I'll be all over that like a rash.
I kind of have to admit my shame on this one. My first exposure to the Dune universe was the remake movies that were just nowhere near as good as the original.
There's a remake?
Yeah.
I'm probably just as well I haven't seen it then.
Yeah.
And there's another remake coming out very, very soon.
Yeah, I'm aware of it.
Wasn't there like a sequel where it was like Moedeep's kids?
I don't know.
I remember this. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong.
I have no idea, man.
All that matters is Patrick Stewart wasn't in it.
Did it have the big floaty worm thing?
I can't remember. It's that long since I saw it and the remake was so bad.
If it didn't, it isn't worth a watching. Speaking of Battlefront, the whole Flames of War Hobby League thing has kicked off.
Yeah. So on Friday the 5th, this kicked off.
Yeah.
And this is just a nice big hobby league. Ben, you have all the details for this one, yeah?
Yeah, sure. So this is a 3-month-long hobby league. It's a little bit like an escalation league that you would have seen for something, for example, like War Machine or something like that, where you'll be trying to build up an 100-point army to use at the end of September for our large global D-Day campaign that's being run by us, one of our awesome big platforms that we do. So the whole idea is that you'll be getting to join in with us over on the project system, with your local club or with a whole bunch of people, in your friendship group, building up your armies, going through all the motions of taking those first units, painting them, building them, making sure you've got those really nice themed lists and everything like that, and then bring them together for loads of battles over the next 3 months in preparation for that global campaign. It sounds very, very awesome to me. I always love myself a little bit of an escalation league. It's a really good way to get people invested in the hobby to begin with. Starting off small with one of those starter boxes, for example, and then working your way up to something pretty awesome at the very, very end. So yeah, looking forward to this one and seeing what people do, especially over in our project system where people can find a proper link for this one as well, which is pretty good.
Yeah, which is cool. And if you're a game store or a hobby group or whatever, or getting involved in it, come on over and get into the places and add your place where you actually play the game and stuff to the website.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite functions that we have on the website because it actually lets you track down where your gaming stores are. So if I go to this, let's say I'm in the UK, I zoom in. Let's say I'm in the middle of England, I zoom in. Let's say if I'm near Nottingham.
That's a lot of zooming.
Yeah, but it really filters it down to where you're going
Yeah.
on the map. Let's say if I pick this one, Nottingham Board and War Games Club gives me the address and everything I need to know.
Yeah, which is really cool. So if you're into your Flames of War and you're taking part in it, get yourself added to the places.
Mm-hmm.
Pick up some new gamers.
Yeah, well, you need your gaming roadmap.
Yeah, I know I've got my project underway in the project system.
I've not put mine underway yet.
It's still private because I'm talking about it on the backstage tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I have got my Brits underway. If you want to know more about that, tune in tomorrow to see what I'm up to. Or like I'm doing things like waiting and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to say, as Jerry was talking about last week on the Weekender, there's some really cool ways for you to get involved in your clubs, as we mentioned before. But if you email through to Battlefront, either in the US or over in the EU, you'll be able to get some really awesome things like maps and tokens and all those kind of things sent to you as a club or a store. So make sure you check that out as well. We'll have some links to everything down below.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And if you are creating a project, there's a wee drop down, and you can just select it, and then you'll see the Flames of War Hobby League in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that way people will be able to filter and know that your project's part of the whole experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be awesome. And if you comment on this week's show, you have the chance of winning Hit the Beach.
Yeah, which is one of the best starter sets out there at the minute.
Like if you got that starter set and then you did this, you'd be like flying. You'd be up and running in no time. In fact, if you split it with your mate, so as they take one army and you take the other army, and the pair of you get stuck into the Hobby League, by the time September rolls around or October for the actual campaign that we're going to be running, you'll be set, ready to have battles and start reporting and telling us who's winning.
Yeah, if I remember right, each half of that box is going to allow you to build roughly 50 points-ish. For Germans and Americans. So you're halfway to the 100 points.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then you can really start to dig down in and have a look at your forces going, what do I want to add? Like me doing the Russians is just Katyushas. Katyushas everywhere. What? Me like you big rockets.
Yeah. On the subject of like shout outs and things like that, Ben, we're looking for what, community articles at the minute, are we?
Yeah, so if you're someone who thinks they have something to say about the tabletop world, it could be reviews, it could be opinion pieces, it could be previews, it could be anything else. It could be about railroad hobbying and all that kind of thing. We've had people talk about that before. If you're interested and you want to write for us, then you can find a link down below where you can submit a story and give us your ideas. And we may be able to take you on board as one of our community sort of contributors, as it were, and your article will appear on the site. We've done some really cool stuff in the past, as I said. We've done some really good stuff about railroad hobbying and all that kind of thing. Yeah. We've done a really good one about music in games and sort of what music inspires you to get down to the tabletop. So if you've got some really interesting ideas milling around in your head and you want to get them out into the world, come and talk to us and hopefully we'll do something with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're watching on YouTube, come over to the website. Look down in the description, you'll find a link to that submit form. You'll find links to the project system. You'll find links to the places system. All that goodness. Right.
Yeah.
Next week, there is no Weekender.
Nope.
There is no Weekender. Shock and horror.
Guess why?
Justin?
It's my fault. It's all my fault and Jerry's fault. We are flying out to America for Historicon. So the both of us are going to be across there with our buddy Jim Oriskany from the site, having a look about the event and basically seeing what this one is all about. Because this is an event we've never done before, and the focus of it is really into those historical games. So I'm very curious to see what we see.
I'm very interested to see if we get a squeal out of Jerry, because Jerry has such low, relaxed, dulcet tones that maybe if we send it to Historicon, maybe like when you're not expecting it, Jerry will just walk up to something and go.
No,
excited about it.
For Jerry, the tone register is so low, it'll probably be like Tesla's earthquake machine, just.
You never know, he might squeak.
No,
you never know.
I have never heard Jerry squeak.
If he does squeak, let me know with excitement.
If he does squeak, I will try and catch her on my iPhone just for you privately.
If you get excited to the point where he's squeaking, you let me know.
All right. But Jerry is just so Irish with the way he is. It's just like, oh, that's lovely. Oh, that's nice.
Isn't that nice?
Oh, that's nice. Oh, look at that cockroach. I'll eat that.
One of the cool things, actually, when I was looking at the stuff by Historicon in the run-up to it with you guys going over there, was that they're doing like a little bit of a theme. So a lot of people will know that Salute normally has a theme every year. Historicon also does exactly the same thing. And this year, it's all about jungle warfare, which sounds pretty cool. So I'm very interested to see what the tabletops look like for their jungle warfare theme this year.
Oh, that is nice. And it's from the 10th to the 14th?
Yeah. Yeah, so myself and
Is it
Jerry...
a full 4-day con then, or what's the
It's
crack?
one of the big ones. I'm not sure what the coverage is like on the Sunday, because I know we fly back on the Sunday.
Yeah, so you don't know where you will be.
Well, what I need to do is I need to land, figure out how long it takes to get from Philadelphia to the con by car, and then figure out the same route back, so that we don't miss our flights and get trapped in America.
Not very long if you take the Philadelphia experiment. I'm back again. Well, there you go. If you're excited about historical stuff, Historicon is one to watch. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I'm kind of wishing I was staying there one extra day, because a mate of mine had said he would take us around Gettysburg.
Oh, that would be
I would
cool.
just be like, damn it!
If only you had a Philadelphia experiment, you could just
Stop
warp
it.
yourself there.
Stab it! Stab it. I'm going to be close to Gettysburg, but I'm not going to get to see Gettysburg.
Speaking of going places,
Yeah.
I'm not long back from Valencia. Look how tanned I am.
No, hang on. I think
This is tanned for Irish people.
No, hang on. This is tanned. This is tanned.
What?
Look, this is tanned. This is not. Look, pure vampiric
that's
flesh.
it. Yes, there we go. That's an Irish tan. Lovely.
Well, it's what we used to call a farmer's tan on the building site.
That's right. But I want to talk about it because I want to do a quick shout out because I found an amazing museum.
Why do I get the image of Anna just going, for God's sake, Lloyd, why do we find miniatures everywhere you go?
No. That's when we went to Games Workshop and found it was closed.
Closed or closed down?
Closed down. I think there's a picture in there of me looking at Games Workshop closed down. But I found this great museum, which I can't say the name of. It's Museo Histórico Militar de Valencia. That would be my best
That
stab
sounds
at
pretty
it.
good.
Yeah, it's pretty
That'd be my
close.
best stab at it. And I didn't even realize it was there until the last day. Silly me, didn't do enough research.
Yeah.
And we had like about an hour and a half before it closed
Oh,
when we
dude.
got there.
So was it you frantically running around? Snap, 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 snap.
So we got there and I thought, oh, it's free. It'll just be a little small thing. 23 rooms of stuff.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean, there was tons of stuff. I think I've got some photos. Are you able to bring them up?
Yeah, so I think I can. So this is some of your vacation.
Oh,
yeah?
that's a different thing. Yeah, so that's like a big tower, a big defense tower thing that we went to look at in Valencia.
I'm guessing you want to make one?
Because anytime there's a castle or anything like that, I'm in there
Yeah.
to get some snaps. But scary as can be on the top. I don't handle heights very well.
Oh,
Hey, Games Workshop!
that is a tiny little games workshop.
Oh, it was quite deep. Yeah, no, if you looked, no, go back to Games Workshop. If you look back into it, it was deep, but it was closed. It
It's
wasn't on
about what,
Siesta.
10 foot wide?
No, but it goes really far.
I
Sorry,
get it.
deep
I get
as
it.
in deep.
Yeah, I get it.
Not wide. It's not wide and deep. It's
Okay.
just deep.
Okay.
But unfortunately, it closed down. Can you believe that? I'm one of these people
You always find a workshop
that
wherever you
goes
go.
for a workshop. But I'm not the only one. I get these comments going, oh, so I'm not the only one who goes and finds a Games Workshop.
Well, I
but it's not
always
just
have
a
that as
Games
well.
Workshop. I dragged down to about 4 hobby stores while we were there.
Well, like last year, Ben, whenever we went to Essen, I found a workshop,
You did, yeah.
Yeah.
and it was closed down.
Well, it's
It
closed
was,
down
yes.
too. Hey, we're on a roll. Right,
All right,
back
what
to
else
this.
you got here?
So,
Another castle.
another tower.
Which-
Look at that one.
It
It's full
looks
of
like it's
holes.
been shot a lot.
Yes, that'll become relevant later on. Look at that. So I tend to run around. I do loads of snaps to get lots and lots of
Ooh.
reference material. But this
Artillery.
this is coming from that museum that I discovered, and it was free to go in,
Really?
free entrance.
That's nice.
So I wasn't expecting to find as many cool things.
Oh, look. A little cute tank.
Yeah, cool. Keep going.
Tank.
Yeah,
Shells.
yeah.
Artillery guns.
Look at that room.
You look hot as hell.
I'm covered in sun cream. Factor 50.
Oh, no wonder you only got a light browning.
Yeah. So I basically want to give it a shout out because it was such a good experience.
Okay. This,
Yeah.
I never would want to be one of the crew on this. Is the bucket below just for when you yourself? I kid you not.
Yeah. Imagine
Being in front of the gun shield
Yeah.
to fire this thing.
Yeah. I think they probably don't sit there when they fire it.
What, is it self-propelled?
You would think. This thing's interesting. I asked John what this was when I got back, and he told me it's a rangefinder.
I was
So it's
thinking that.
Like periscopy type things at either end, and then when you match the image up, you find your range. Because I was wandering around it for like 15 minutes going, I need to see the rest of this museum, but I can't figure out what this is.
Very cool. Oh, AA guns.
Oh,
These are
yes.
lovely.
I was straight in there to get my reference photos.
Uh-huh.
Look at that. Look at all that dust.
The grime.
Yes, it's just like putting a load of pigment powder into some water and sticking it on your tank and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it all
Yeah.
clings into the surfaces and it looks just
Yeah,
like
just-
this, which is awesome.
Nice. Oh, really nice patina on that.
Look at this room, Justin.
Oh, machine guns everywhere.
Look at that room.
This looks like a mixture of different marks of Maxim machine gun.
Oh, it was from all sorts of places,
Yeah.
from all sorts of years.
Yeah, well, like you've got some Tommy guns in there. You've got some PPSHs. I see an MP44 M1 carbine, K98 rifle.
I have hundreds of photos.
Ooh.
Hundreds of photos.
Me likey.
Yeah. Don't think that's just freshly painted.
Yeah, that
they've
is.
been using it.
Yeah, they've repainted it, but you can see the tires are original.
Yeah.
Just for the chunk set of them. Nice.
So if you're ever in Valencia, I think we're coming near the end of these pictures because I just wanted to give you a flavour because I was so impressed with the fact that it was free.
Yeah. Oh, they have the models.
I found miniatures. Yes, because there is another museum.
All right.
Right, and it's got 90,000 toy soldiers in it.
Nice.
Miniatures. Right, but it was closed.
Oh.
It's only open Saturday, Sunday. I was gutted.
What day were you there?
I wasn't there on Saturday or Sunday.
Oh.
So I was gutted. And so I was so happy when I found, look, Anna, I found another place, a room full of miniatures.
Funny thing is, you're standing next to her mirror. I don't see Anna.
Yeah, she's there somewhere.
Just wandered off.
She's there somewhere. So it was cabinet after cabinet of this stuff. It was great. And then they had these great explanations as to what was what. So
Were they in Spanish?
No. Well, I can't remember. I think they had both. Look at the size of that room.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
you only
impressive.
seen it. There was an offshoot to another couple of rooms.
Ah.
See? Remember that tower thing?
Yes.
Obviously, it's been involved in a battle. Hence why it's full of holes.
Yeah.
And if I'd stopped long enough to read it, I could have told you what the battle was. But I only had an hour and a half to get around the whole thing.
I think this is my favourite room.
Look at that.
Just all the weapons. That's lovely.
I think that's the end of it.
That is the end of it.
So yeah,
I'll bring
I wanted
us a
to do
Ben
a quick
back.
shout out for that. So I think there should be a link.
I think you've got the TripAdvisor page here.
Yes, here we go. So it's this place here. Look at that. Look at the reviews. Look how positive that is. I'm not surprised. On our way out, we definitely decided, definitely we're chucking money into it. Do you know the way they have these supporters slots and stuff?
Hey, look, it's open today.
It is open today. And I think I have a link for the other one, which is the Toy Story Museum.
Pop.
Yeah.
This one?
So this is the one we did not get to see because it's only open at weekends. But it was looking good too.
That's
At least from the pictures, it looks good.
Oh, there's some Marvel stuff in there.
And if you look at the reviews, 85,000 figures, it says they're over 15 rooms.
Yeah.
The reviews are generally like spot on for this place. People are like, oh, so worth doing.
Yeah.
I've only seen one or two bad reviews, but it was basically saying, I'm going to rate you a 1 because you weren't open on the day I was there. It's a bit harsh because the guys come back and says, look, we all have full-time jobs and we basically run this
just as a
just
hobby.
a part-time hobby thing at the weekend. Like, can you imagine running a hobby like a museum with 85,000 miniatures?
Yeah.
Just the weekend.
Well, if you ever watch like American Pickers on history, I mean, like they're never done, but they're going to like little museums that someone's running as a hobby, trying to make it a full-time job, and they just cannot do it because there's not the foot traffic for it, which is a shame.
Yeah. So I just wanted to give them a shout out because I'm excited about places like Miniature Wonderland and things like that. So if I find things like this, I'm gonna let you know.
Yeah, definitely a good idea.
2 places worth going if you ever go to Valencia.
Yep.
Right, gents, the news. Ben, we're gonna come over to you for the news. What's first, mate?
So the first bit of news is from the guys at Mantic Games. They have announced that in October of this year, they're going to be bringing to the tabletop Kings of War 3rd Edition.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a revamp and a tweak of their well-loved set of rules for mass battle gaming. Some of the big things that came out in their announcement that they put out last week were that the Northern Alliance are going to become a proper army within the world. There's also going to be supplements that are going to be adding to this, taking the number of armies you can actually use from around 14, 15 up to 26.
26? Wow.
So going to be a whole bunch of new army lists in there as well. On top of that, there's a whole bunch of new lore and everything for the world that was previously known as Mantica and is now known as Panathor. So if you want to delve into that world a little bit more, find out a bit more about the factions and see where the story is taking things for the heroes there, there's some really good options in there too. One of the big things that I'd always suggest when it comes to Kings of War is that, because obviously there's a lot of fantasy games out there right now, lots of rule sets that exist out in the world, but When it comes to Kings of War, they've done some pretty good stuff, Mantic Games have, where they've tied it into the likes of Kings of War Vanguard, which is their skirmish game, and also Dungeon Saga, which is their role-playing sort of dungeon delver game as well. There is also a role-playing game coming out too, which is pretty good. So there's plenty of opportunities to delve into the world of Penethor and sort of explore it in various different ways through different games.
I'm so glad they've changed the name from Mantica.
Yeah, as soon as I heard Penethor, it was just like, wait, Mantica? No? What?
Yes, finally, it's been changed. Because I just couldn't take Mantica seriously.
It always has been a solid rule system, though, and each time they've done an iteration, so they went from first to second, they did refine it a lot, so I'm very curious to see what they're doing to streamline and tighten the game up even more.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But, like, just because a rule set changes, though, it doesn't necessarily always mean that it gets tighter.
I don't know. For Mantic, I expect it to be a refinement. I mean, it's only Workshop is the only company I see that as they bring out a new edition, it's a complete flip on its head, rebuild the engine. You know, unless it's a company like the guys over at Warcradle who are taking older game systems and re-engineering them to release them as something new.
Yeah. Well, we'll wait and see.
Yeah.
Blood Red Skies has a new MiG alley set as well, Ben.
Yeah, sure. So Blood Red Skies has been primarily focused on the idea of World War II combat, the Battle of Britain, that kind of thing. But they're moving Korean War as well, as they are doing in Bolt Action, with a new set which is called MiG Alley. And it puts together two sides for you to play as. It's like a little tiny scenario, which is kind of cool. You've got the Soviet MiG the Soviet MiGs versus the F-86 Sabres of the Americans. So if you want to get stuck into some really cool jet skirmish combat, we've got some pretty awesome stuff in this little set here. A lot of people were also saying that it'd be really cool if they added a little bit more of a rule supplement in there to, use missiles and things in the game. And then suddenly Blood Red Skies could go from just a simple World War II and sort of mid-20th century game into one that could cover pretty much any era of aerial combat. But yeah, sounds pretty awesome. If you like some MiG combat and you want to get stuck into the Korean War as well, this set is coming up very, very soon. It's up for pre-order right now. So.
Interesting stuff, because I'm pretty interested in the whole Korea thing, and we're going to probably talk about that in backstage because I'm pretty excited about it. I wouldn't be surprised if I bring it up.
Okay. This particular set, though, has me very curious as to just what rules are going to add to this, because if you think the old prop planes, the way they do this is if you tilt forward, you're at disadvantage. If you're in the middle, you're normal, and if you're back, you're at advantage.
Yes.
Jets have so much more power to them. I have to wonder, is this going to be something that's going to allow people to really change how advantage works within this game, just because they can get into a better position or get out of trouble a lot easier? Because in a prop plane, if you're in trouble, you need a lot of skill to do it. This, you're starting to get computer-assisted flying that's going on with you. So I'm curious.
I imagine it'll work pretty much the same, because all your maneuvers and stuff are relatively similar. They're just happening at a much higher speed.
Yeah, but because you have the thrust to actually pull yourself back out of something, there's more power to the engine there. I think it may come down to more skill.
I'd be surprised if they fiddled with that.
I'm curious. I think because it's a very different style of aircraft, they might want to look at it.
I'd be surprised, because then they'd have to, because you're into sort of new rule sets then at that point, not just a supplement type thing.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
I don't think they'll fiddle with that bit. We'll wait and see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Next up, then. Oh, Footsore have got some new stuff coming out. I see that here.
Yeah, see, I put this in just for you, Lloyd. So this is a new set of Dark Age Late Saxon Huskarls. So the guys over at Footsore Miniatures have been working on a whole bunch of Dark Age stuff over the past couple of months and years, really. They previously were working on Vikings a lot, and now they've started to move towards Late Saxons. So they had a lot of Late Saxons out recently that were sort of daubed in their sort of regular raiments that warriors would have, but now they're moving towards those bodyguards, the guys that the fort alongside your warlord in the shield wall. We've got some awesome looking Huskarls here that have a whole range of different weapons. So we've got some really great guys here with swords, axes, and shields, and spears, and all kinds of things like that, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, a very, very cool looking dynamic set, which I think is really good, because it's always key to have units that actually look like they're fighting. I think that's really important. So,
I think that's the key takeaway from this set. The sculpting and stuff looks good, the details look good, but the poses are so dynamic, so in motion, which is really cool.
Yeah, I'm really liking the look of these. as well as them being useful as Huskarls, so like your Hearthguard for your army, if you're going to be playing a game like Saga, these would also, I think some of these would actually work quite well just as warlords on their own, if you just paint them up with a little bit more sort of like crazy outfits and stuff like that. So if you put a little bit more detail into their capes, their cloaks, for example, they'd look pretty cool. So
yeah, a really good release that. When's it actually due? Because I've seen they were taking pre-orders. Normally they don't take pre-orders, but they said for this version, for this particular release, they were actually going to start sort of taking pre-orders for this.
Yeah. Well, towards the end of this week, they start showing off a few more preview images of them with their weapons in hand, a lot more of them anyway. So I'm sure it won't be very, very long until these come to their web store for you to pick up. They've been doing a lot of Mortal God stuff at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see when they pop up.
Yeah.
I am actually liking these because of just some of the finer details that they've thrown in here. If you have a look, you see the actual like little Viking sacks that you've got there just hanging around the belt. Tiny details like that always jump out to me on these kind of miniatures.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Like all the wee details, like you say, like you point out their sacks to us, is pretty cool. Because like I spend a lot of time on my miniatures trying to stick things onto them.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of them come.
Yeah, but they're very fiddly when you have to do it.
Yeah. If you have to try and get a sack and stick it onto the guy.
Yeah.
Like you're first of all you're trying to figure out where does his sack go.
Yeah, where's it hang?
Where does it hang?
Left or right?
Rather than it just being on him.
Yeah.
Because like you're trying to figure out the motion of him and stuff like that. And if you stick a sack on awkwardly.
Yeah. Sorry, that's just me knowing knives.
Well, that's because you've had Viking experience at UK Games Expo.
Yeah.
Which we're actually going to cut in at the end of the show.
Oh, you're cutting it in?
Yeah, just
I have been waiting for people to see this. I had a blast.
Experiences living as a Viking.
I had a blast with this.
Yeah, so if you're interested to see what Justin got up to as a Viking at UK Games Expo, wait to the end of the show because we'll leave you with it.
Yeah, I used to be a warrior like you until I took an arrow to the knee.
I remember you walked in and you're like, look at me, I've got chainmail on. Look how amazing
That stuff is heavy.
Look how heavy I am.
That, and it kind of hugs the belly.
Yeah.
You know, not very flattering.
It did make you look a... No, it's not. No, you looked good.
Yeah, but I had just that little Jarl's belly.
Yeah, you looked well fed. It was good. I liked it.
I really enjoyed it. You see doing weapon reenactment like that, it's a real adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
You know, whenever you've got a blade in your hand, someone's coming at you. I mean, like, you'll see it at the end of the show.
Anybody hit you with their sack?
So I got hit with a sword multiple times, and then an axe, which is terrifying.
Nobody came at you with their sack then?
No, that's not a weapon that Vikings would use.
I'm confused. The sword, the little knife thing's called a sack though, yes?
Sea axe or sax.
Oh, a sax?
Yes, sax blade.
Right.
Or some people over here call it a sea axe.
So there was no sax maniacs or anything coming at you?
No.
Moving on, Ben.
Yep.
What's up next?
So next up, we've got some news from the guys over at One Page Rules. Now, these guys have been going for quite a while already, but they produce a series of rule sets for you to play either grimdark sci-fi games or Age of Fantasy games with very, very few rules. Okay? So they've now updated both of their rule books with very awesome looking artwork, as you can see here on these.
Hold on, Justin. Just click the you can actually open the PDF. Go down.
Where?
Click that link and you'll open the PDF because they are worth looking through. As I had a quick look.
They are very good. Yeah. So the Grimdark Future one is really, really good in that it's effectively just 2 pages. And that's all you need to learn how to play the game. They have then delved into a little bit more detail with all of the army lists for a whole range of different forces that you might find in the Grimdark Future. It's not just ones that you might be familiar with from other game systems that exist out there. With the Age of Fantasy one, they've got a little bit more in-depth with the rules. There's a lot more stuff in there for magic and all those kind of things as well. A whole bunch of stuff in there for sort of positioning and that kind of thing. They've really gone to town on the Age of Magic rulebook. Especially, there's some really awesome artwork and things like that and diagrams and that thing, which is really cool. But as with the Grimdark rule set, they've also done a whole range of different rules for a bunch of different factions too. So
let's see the fantasy version. 2 seconds, Ben. We're just going to catch up with you, mate. Yeah, so here's the fantasy version as well, Justin.
I like the artwork.
The artwork looks epic.
I'm loving the fact that this little lizard fellow has got his head cut off right here.
Let's see what that one is like. Download that one as well.
All right. I may have to give this a go.
I was surprised when I opened it. I thought, oh, rules books to look through, and then I was looking. I go, oh, it's quite light here. I could probably get through this, no problem at all.
Oh, is this square base, Ben, for the fantasy one?
I believe you don't have to. You can use whatever bases you want. I think.
Well, it's showing rounds there, Justin.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're both made to be very, very quick and easy to get into. As you know, as I was saying, the Age of Fantasy one's a little bit longer, which is about 23 pages, something like that. But it still comes in quite neat compared to a lot of other rule systems out there, which is pretty good. And there are a lot of people that have a lot of armies nowadays, and there are a lot of rules out there. But you know, with one that's free, no reason not to just give it a go and see what you think. Another big thing about this one as well is that it's all funded by the community. So if you want to support this rule set and you enjoy it, then there's a Patreon that you can go and sign up to and give some money, you know, just to get some extra bits and pieces. They do give out some really cool exclusives and stuff, which is pretty awesome. So watch out for that as well. Yeah.
Cool.
I like when folks do that they have an idea for the game system and they're just like, we want people to go and play this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Privateer Press, Ben. They've got a mini crate thing going on, mate.
Yeah, so Privateer Press, I've been running their mini crate for a couple of years now. They started off doing it primarily focused around the idea of creating alternative sculpts for a lot of the different characters in War Machine and Hordes. The whole sort of spiel behind the mini crates themselves is that you get a miniature every month, and this is done through a subscriber system. However, if you sign up for slightly longer, you might get some VIP miniatures as well, which is pretty cool. I think it's around 6 months. But the awesome thing about it is all of these 30 mil scale models that, you know, look very similar to the ones you would have got from them in the past. Once that month's gone, they are never made again. When it came to the War Machine and Hordes ones that they did previously, they actually took videos of them destroying the molds. So if you miss out on these miniatures, you miss out on them completely, right?
Oh.
I love their homage to Conan.
Yeah, so with this new one, they've done one for Legend of the Five Rings, and now, starting in September, they're doing one focused around Robert E. Howard's work, which is called the Savage Mini Crate, as you can see here.
These are cool, and like you say, Ben, so they're going to destroy the molds. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're telling me here?
Yeah, so...
Oh my goodness, it feels so wrong. Oh.
So that the second image you see, the third image you see down there, which is of the lady with the sword and the pistol, she is Dark Agnes from the Sword Woman series.
I think you mean second image.
Okay, well, the second, whichever one it is with her with the sword and the pistol. She is Dark Agnes, and she is a character from the Sword Woman series that Robert E. Howard wrote. Not a lot of these stories were actually published when he was alive. A lot of them were published posthumously. But this is one of his characters from that. So we're going to be seeing a lot of really awesome characters that Howard worked on that maybe not a lot of people know too much about. Like, I didn't know much about her at all. I didn't know that her and another character were a lot of the inspiration for Red Sonja that we see in or Sonja, sorry, that we see in a lot of the other work now with Conan and stuff like that. But as well as characters like Dark Agnes, we've got Belit, who's the character at the top there. And we've also got characters like Solomon Kane and Conan as well. So the Conan that you see there, seated on his throne, is the one that is given away to VIP subscribers for the first 6 months. So he's the extra miniature you're going to get. And then the VIP miniature will be cycled out every 6 months, so a new one will crop up as well. So it has the same rarity as the other ones you see here being included in the mini crate. So
see, cool. The idea of destroying miniatures molds,
it makes me feel so queasy.
It gives me chills. You know,
it's so wrong, yet it's probably so right.
They have thrown one of them into a river. They've filled one with concrete and broken it, which I thought was pretty cool. So yeah, the guys at Privateer would be doing some really awesome stuff with this. And as I say, it's looking towards aspects of Robert E. Howard's work that maybe you wouldn't necessarily have thought about. So there's going to be some stuff to do with Krull and all that kind of thing too. So whichever aspect of his crazy fantasy world you like, there'll be something for you.
So there's one on a river we can go find, Justin. We can get the scuba gear on.
Make a mint.
We can jump in.
Make a mint.
Then we go, look, limited editions, left, right, and centre, and out the wazoo. What do you think? I can do it. I know how to scuba dive.
All right, so you're diving in the water. That's fine. We're doing it. It's great.
Me and Warren have done scuba diving.
Really? I cannot imagine Warren scuba diving.
Oh, man. It was amazing. Because we even have photos of it, which got lost, unfortunately.
Lost?
But it was
great.
Is this
lost or lost?
Because there was me and him swimming through the sea like this. But we look like a couple of manatees. Do you know what a manatee is?
I know what a manatee is.
It's like a big sea cow thing.
Yeah.
Just two of us swimming along. But I never went again. But this might bring me out of retirement. Let's go scuba diving, Justin.
Now, how deep was this river? Was it like river or like stream river?
I'm fairly sure it was a big ass river in America somewhere. So,
all right. So it probably got washed away. It wasn't like some little creek thing then.
No. You go and scuba diving in a creek.
Well, literally, would look like a slow moving manatee. Okay, yeah, I give up on it then.
Yeah.
Damn it.
That and we would need to get to America.
The special editions will have to wait.
Yeah.
They'll have to wait. Speaking of special stuff,
Yes.
we got sent something.
Yes, so we got sent. All right, anybody who knows me knows I absolutely adore Kingdom Death Monster. It's one of the finest board games ever created on the entire planet, just for a civilization builder. I'm saying that right now. What we have been sent is a lovely little gift, which is this. So this is essentially an equipment tracker for you and your party. So
Yeah.
we've got a couple or three of these. So if we do get some Kingdom Death on the go again, we can use these. So you have this, which is your 9-grid item slot. It's actually got burnt in your fist and tooth attack right here.
Yeah.
And then you've got all of your different counters for, some extras, your evasion, your speed, your luck. And then these I quite like, because these are some of the extra abilities you can get. So say you wanted to encourage someone. I'll use my encourage. And it pops out with a wee magnet. And whenever you get it back, you just pop it back in.
Oh, it literally is designed to pull out.
Yes.
Because I thought they were little flappy things. I wasn't sure.
No, it's just little magnets.
Just pull it out and use it.
Exactly. And it makes tracking your stuff a lot easier. Also, it pulls open. So if I... you take that, Lloyd.
Give me the knobby bit.
You've then got a nice little storage tray in here as well for all your different stuff. So if you've got things like spare gear, order, fighting arts, you can actually do like a bit of a character save with this. And then if I take this out, because there is another drawer here, there's a very bottom drawer just for some regular components and stuff, or notes if you're taking them.
Cool.
So this is a really nicely designed little piece of laser cut kit.
Sweet.
Yeah.
What do all the wee knobs represent?
I just said, so you've got, if you're getting an extra something,
Yes.
your evasion, your
Yes.
speed, your luck,
Yes.
how many hits you've took to your body, how many you've took to your head, your legs, your mind, your arms, your waist. So you can actually track your armor on this as well as just how much damage you've taken. That, and you can measure your movement out too.
And both bits turn. So like this bit turns and then this
Yeah,
bit.
so it's
and
all
then-
magnetized.
Yeah. So there's two trackers or something here,
Yeah,
is it?
you just pull these off
Yeah.
and it's all magnetized.
So you can track. So there's one track here, and then what? This other thing can track as well on top.
Yeah, so basically, say it was on my body,
Yeah.
or my head here, right?
Yeah.
So let's say I had armor 1 on my body. So I would turn this to here, and I would turn this so that it was on 0.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Just yeah. That's fine. Yeah.
So let's say I take a hit to my head.
Yeah.
I lose my armor, so I now point it at 0,
Yeah.
and then I count 1, 2 damage, and then I've taken a serious injury, which I'll need to get sorted.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
It's a really clever little design. I quite like it.
Who's this coming from again?
This is...
Fan Guru Buddha?
It was sent in by Giri Buddha from Hungary, who also sent some other bits and pieces as well. So for anyone who likes their FFG games, I think I also sent through some stuff for Mansions of Madness and Arkham Horror and all that kind of thing. But all of these come from Etsy. So Etsy is a great place to go and look for kind of accessories and all kind of things like that that are kind of like homemade, like these ones are here. They actually do some really cool like deck boxes and stuff that I picked up for games like Keyforge and all those kind of things as well. So yeah, some really cool stuff here. And thank you very much to Bowden for that.
Yeah, so this sort of shows you your loadout here on
Yeah.
the screen. So you've got all your equipment on this left-hand side, your tracking, and then you've got your storage in the middle there. And then what's the other ones we have here? So this one, accept Etsy. Yeah, this is Madeira board game, KDM player, Arkham Horror stuff, more Kingdom Death Monster. He actually does a central console. That's nice.
Mhm.
Me likey. And then our last link for him is this stuff here. So this is... Oh, he does some Gloomhaven stuff, Ben. You'll like that.
Can you click any of these? Do they get bigger?
Oh, yeah. So if I click into, say, the Gloomhaven one,
Yeah.
and then we've got these nice big images here.
They are very cool. They're a little bit more than I think most people will need on the tabletop, but they kind of give you some really cool options for those that want to bling up their games a little bit more, which I think is pretty cool. So it was nice of you to get hold of these and send them out to us.
See, this is something I've been looking at recently, is just how do you enhance your board gaming experience? So things like this are really good. Lloyd, what are you doing?
Carry on.
Things like this are really good for enhancing your board gaming experience because they...
Sea cucumber? No? No sea cucumber?
Oh, even the smell of that bloody gherkin.
Keep going, Dustin.
Does this count as animal cruelty?
You sure you don't want to see cucumber?
Get it away.
We seemed to like them last week.
Get it away. It stinks. It absolutely stinks. Don't want it near. Put the lid back on.
I got more sea cucumber to eat.
Come on. That's vile. Raw gherkin is
You liked it last
absolutely
week.
vile.
XLBS, you couldn't get enough of it.
I almost puked twice.
Okay.
Ugh. That's nasty.
You were saying?
Yeah, it's something I've looked at recently as ways to enhance your board gaming experience. So I've been playing about with some 3D printed stuff, but go into somewhere like Etsy, you will find great creators on there who have already been working on things like this. Even if you're looking for like props and stuff for costumes. Last year, whenever myself and John did the Fallout 4 one, we went to Etsy to actually get our laser rifles because we didn't have 3D printers at that point. You know, so it's a really great space.
I will point out that a lot of these, you'll see them in their sort of bare wood form. They are meant for you to try and paint them if you want to. I just tend to just leave them as they are in their sort of plain wood format because I think it looks quite nice as it is. Yeah, just be aware that a lot of them aren't coloured and stuff like that. So
yeah, and some of them you actually have the options here. So if you select the finish, you can select it for unassembled, pre-glued with magnet. So let's go pre-glued with magnet, and then you can go for walnut stained or no staining. So let's say no staining, and Etsy actually recalculates depending on what options you've chosen, which is quite nice.
that's cool.
That is nice.
Yeah.
We'll definitely get some links to the stuff that Boda has sent in.
Yeah.
Look in the show notes. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, come on over
To
check out the
OnTableTop.com.
website. You'll find the show notes, and in there you'll find lots of nice little links.
Yep.
Right, boys. Kickstarter time.
Yeah. What do you got first, Ben?
I believe there's a Kickstarter selling sea cucumbers. And if there isn't,
Stop.
there will be this time next week.
Stop. Just stop.
So I've picked 3 Kickstarters for us to look at this week. The first of these is one that was on Kickstarter and then it vanished, much to the horror of many, many people. And this is Kodama 3D. So Kodama is a game by Indie Board and Cards, which is great for young players and people that are young at heart, like me, where you are trying to build a beautiful tree for your Kodama to sit in, and you score points based on creating patterns worth of different areas of the trees, so you score for each thing that appears on different branches and that kind of thing. But the original game was all a 2D style affair, which was all done with cards. Kodama 3D makes everything just that much better by turning things into proper trees, as you can see here. So yeah, I know this probably doesn't speak to your heart, Lloyd, but this is a wonderful Kickstarter that has already made a lot of my friends very, very happy indeed. But as you can see here, it does that thing that I think a lot of board games really need to try and focus on, and that is that by the very end of it, you need to see what you've created. And so with the original Kodama, it was great seeing it done sort of like in this 2D format. But when you see it in 3D like this, I think it adds another level to the whole sort of thing that we're getting with the game. And as you can see, already funded, a lot of people getting involved with this one and getting stuck into it. Really, really good for kids, as I said, and also for younger fellows too.
Right. I have to ask Ben, is this a dexterity-based game where you're trying not to make things fall down, or is this designed so that it all properly holds together as you're putting it together?
It all holds together properly, as you can see here. It's not a dexterity-based game. It's one which involves a little bit of drafting. So what you do is one player turns over a bunch of different cards, and then everybody picks from it in turn. So it's all about drafting what only is sort of good for you as part of your tree, but also trying to stop other people as well. So that's where the tactical element of the game comes in, as you can see.
Are you making your own tree? Like, do I have my own tree that I build?
Yes.
And you have your tree that you
Or do we each
build?
get a branch?
Everybody gets a tree, and everybody's building their own tree. So it's all about trying to build the best one, which I think is really cool. The other thing is as well, to make it a little bit more tactically deep as well, in the sort of learning game, everybody gets given sort of like very, very simple objectives that they're trying to complete, secret objectives. But in the sort of learning, the full game itself, everyone will get a random objective from a large deck of cards, and that will sort of focus you towards slightly different ways of building your trees to score more victory points. So
Okay, cool.
That's cool. How big can I make my tree? It's like
you can make your tree massive if you want, Mike. You can have a massive tree.
But does like the bits you pull out, see when you pull it out of the, like you draft them out, does it say that it has to be stuck onto this particular type of branch, or can I just keep going the way I want to go?
You can keep going in one direction, but there is a limit to how much you can score from one branch, just so the tree doesn't fall over. But sort of you can build it as big as you want in different directions if you want. So
Okay, cool.
Cool. I actually kind of like the idea of it.
Yeah,
I like
it could be fun.
the idea of my tree versus your tree.
But my tree will be better than your tree.
We are actually trying to beat each other by having bigger trees.
You're trying to create a tree that is lovely and welcoming to all of the Kodama out there, the little tree spirits that exist in the world. So if you've ever played anything to do with Studio Ghibli, or Ghibli, however you want to say it, this is some pretty awesome stuff. So,
it looks a bit like the creature from Ori and the Blind Forest.
it does a little bit, yeah.
The one with the leaf on his head.
Yep.
This little guy?
Yeah, it looks a bit like
kinda.
there's like a character at the start of Ori and the Blind Forest, which is a video game, with a white sort of creature like that finds Ori. But eventually it dies or something.
I see.
I haven't played the game.
Spoilers.
Spoilers, yeah.
Well, it happens. It happens pretty much straight away. I'm only spoiling maybe the first 5 minutes of the game. I haven't really played past that.
Yeah.
Because I was so upset at that point, I had to go and make some tea. It's like, that's a heart wrencher right there.
Yeah.
How can I turn this into a war game? Like, could my tree be shooting at his tree? Could we throw apples at each other?
Nuts. Chestnuts.
Why don't you work it into a game with the silver net, and as soon as you complete your tree, you can spawn units from it onto the tabletop. There we go.
Yeah.
What's next, Ben?
And so the next one is a little bit of a somber one. So we've seen a happy Kickstarter, and now we get to a somber one, which is called the Bleak Spirit role-playing game. So this is by a guy called Chris Longhurst, and it's a role-playing game that's inspired by video games that you might have played, like Dark Souls and Bloodborne and those kind of games, where you are a lone hero going out against a world that you don't truly understand and you don't fully sort of grasp yet until you find fragments of lore. The whole idea is that the game is played by 3 players who each take on different roles. So one of you will become the world, who describes the scene at any given time and sets it up for the Wanderer. The Wanderer is the person who plays the character in the game, that hero that is wandering through ruins and that kind of thing. They will be defeating foes, fighting monsters, that kind of thing, exploring the scene and looking for different things that exist in the world, and doing that general sort of dungeon delving aspect of things. And then you have the other player who plays the chorus. So the chorus adds colour to the scenes alongside the person who's playing the world, and adds to everything that's happening in there, and sort of adds that little bit of that little flair to things. So everybody gets a role in the game, sort of enjoys different sort of styles of play. Then at the end of every scene that is played, everybody writes down what they believe has happened in the world and the sort of the growth and the history of it based on the fragments of lore that you find out there. So you're kind of building the worlds that you're role playing in as you're playing it and discovering things and sort of seeing where branches go and all that kind of thing. So it's got a really nice creative element to it. Then once you've gone through that scene and you've built the lore and you start to create your world, everybody switches roles. So someone else becomes the world, someone else becomes the wanderer, and someone else becomes the chorus. And then you do the same thing and you play through an entire scenario until you come to the end of it and you've created something fascinating for your storytelling around the tabletop. The actual game itself is very open, so you can, basically start out with nothing and some fragments of lore that you've come up with beforehand. But to get people started in the game as well, a whole bunch of authors have put together 5 different scenarios that you can take that are kind of pre-made to help you get a sort of like foothold in it as well. As someone who really likes Dark Souls and those kind of games, Demon Souls, and, well, not necessarily the gameplay of it, because it's just too hard. I can't win them. But the actual lore and the storytelling behind it, where nothing is given to you straight out, you have to kind of make it up as you go along and see where, and sort of take your own ideas forward and sort of how they've, blossomed and that kind of thing. I think this is a fascinating idea. I love a lot of games that have that kind of different take on role-playing. So there's one called Goblin Quest, where you're all trying to effectively succeed in something, but everybody dies in the outcome. But you sort of tell the story as you're going. And I love to see other games that are taking that kind of idea and bringing it forward. So the Bleak Spirit sounds absolutely fascinating if you want to take a very different take on role-playing with your friends. So yeah, very cool.
There is one thing I've noticed looking through this Kickstarter, and it is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen anyone do on something like this.
Is it a sea cucumber?
No. No. Right, so you've got the regular copy for a PDF of the game.
Yeah.
12 quid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at what it says in the one above. This is a lower cost...
the hardship PDF.
Yeah. This is a lower cost tier for those in financial hardship of whatever kind. No questions asked. It's a nice honor system piece right there in this Kickstarter. I love it whenever I see companies do this and people do this on Kickstarters. Just to say, doesn't matter if you don't have a lot, you can still come and enjoy this world with us. That's cool. Really nice.
Mm-hmm. Very awesome indeed.
That is cool. Right, to bring the tone back out of somberness.
Yes.
I want us to look at again at the fantasy games, war games terrain coming out of Battle Systems. Now we had Colin on last week's show.
Yeah.
But his Kickstarter's up and it's going great guns.
It
and they're starting to unlock some extra stuff.
4 times funded.
4 times funded! So I just thought, it's worth looking at again because they're starting to unlock cool things. Like, I love the streets.
Mm-hmm. The roads are nice.
It sounds a bit boring, Lloyd zeroing in on the streets. But look, I can scrolling down, you see the streets. The streets look great.
There we go.
Right, what I like most about them is the fact that they're not straight edge.
Yes, the non-uniformity.
They have all the little bricks and blocks and stuff, but now they're unlocking stretch goals where you can now turn them over, and there are rivers on the other side and stuff like that. So I'm happy to see it going so well, because when I first seen the set, I was like, this set just screams nice quality stuff to you, because see the clips there. Actually, the clips is a good thing. See the way they're using the plastic clips and stuff.
Yeah.
The way they've designed this particular set. So scroll back up to one of like the big pictures of the whole thing. Like that'll do. That'll do even better. The way they've designed it, even though they're using plastic clips to keep it all together, it's really hard to zero in on where they actually are.
Yeah. We see all right, I can only see 2 in this image, and they're really hard to spot. So you see between here and here, there and there is a couple of clips.
Yeah, there's more in there somewhere.
Oh,
they're just not obvious, and I like that. I like the fact that then you can just pop it all apart and put it all together.
Yeah,
it just seems to work. So because if you'd said to me, let's do fantasy terrain and let's have it all clipped together and stuff, I probably wouldn't have thought, it's probably not going to work that well. But having seen it come to fruition, I'm like, wow, that works so well.
See, I always love what Colin does with his stuff, just because it's really, really nice, really thematic. Right now, I'm kind of dying for him to make a fantasy version of Core Space.
Yeah,
Core Adventure right here. This is what I want.
Adventure.
I want to have that experience with a fantasy adventure group. 2 fantasy adventure groups rocking in, and maybe there's an undead necromancer just raising skeletons and horrible ghouls and stuff to come and invade the village, and you're trying to get in, get the magic sword, and get the hell out. Quick as you can.
Here's the roads and stuff again. But Ben, they've started unlocking more stretch goals, haven't they?
Yeah, sure. So this week I saw them unlock a whole bunch of different stuff. So the first of these was the Village Ruins set. So those of you that have seen those really awesome looking buildings that they use for their villages and their towns and things, they've now released burnt down sort of ruined versions of those, which I think is really cool. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Blood on the Streets set that you used to get from Wartime, which is very good. As well as that, they've also included the new watermill, which looks very, very good too. So if you want to try and create some very interesting and diverse battlefields, you've got a really awesome, massive watermill, which I think is just great. And it shows off more of their curved pieces that they've used for the game as well, which I thought was really good. In addition to that, they've also got a little bit of a backer goal going up at the moment. If they reach 1,205 backers, which is 1 more than their previous campaign, gets a bridge. So there you go. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Oh my god,
so
the watermill.
Yeah, these are the stretch goals that we've just been talking about. So there's the Village Ruins. You've just got to it now. I'm scrolling. So the Village Ruins. Look how cool that is. And then the watermill is a nice add-on as well.
Yeah, it's really nice, especially with those flippable roads.
Yes, turning into the actual streams and stuff.
Graveyard's really nice.
So they're doing a really good job. If you're interested in this and you want to hear it straight from the horse's mouth, go and check out last week's show when we had Colin on. See what he had to say in case you'd missed last week's show.
But yeah, this looks great. It looks like it would be good for those playing mass battle games, those playing skirmish games, pretty much anything really. So yeah, great stuff. And all the interiors are detailed, little doors and windows open, which I think is just a cute little additional thing. So yeah, very cool stuff.
Yeah, so just a little recap. So we had Kodama 3D, 12 days left. Bleak Spirit, 11 days left.
Yep.
And we have the fantasy war games terrain from Battle Systems with 13 days left. It's been a big shift towards shorter Kickstarters and things recently, hasn't there?
Yeah, I've seen 1 or 2 folks doing that. I mean, like, Kickstarters, whenever you do long ones, they're meant to be like a huge event, but then you have to keep the audience that you've captured entertained for maybe a month. That's a lot of work for some companies, is to spend a month just entertaining folks and saying, come on, keep bringing your friends in, keep jumping in on this, keep helping us make more of our new amazing project. That's a lot of work for folks.
Absolutely. prizes, fellas. I
Yes.
take a big intake of breath because the UK
You
Games
take a breath.
at UK Games Expo, like a while ago now, there was over 50 prizes up for grabs,
Yarp.
and we've been working our way through them, and the winners have been picked,
Yes.
and they've been put into the system. So if you come on over to the website, so what we have is we have a big page,
Yes.
and then we update it with winners and stuff. So you need to go in and check if you're a winner, and then there's a wee button that you can claim your prize.
Yes, and make sure to check it every week because we do roll out the prizes pretty often.
Yeah.
But if you do not claim your prize within 1 month of it being announced, you lose out.
Yeah. Well, we have a winner picked for the Conquest 2-player starter set from last week's show.
Yarp.
But we haven't picked the winners yet from the Battlefront.
The
Open
Battlefront Open Day, because that's a nice chunky prize, and we want to give everybody a chance to jump in on that one.
Yeah, so it'll be a couple of weeks from now because there is no Weekender next week.
Yep.
So there'll be a Weekender after that. That's probably when we'll say, look, it's been picked. Go and check it. Go and find out who has won.
Exactly.
Because next week is Historicon, as we were talking about.
Eat.
So pretty excited about
Philly
that.
cheesesteak.
Well, just before we leave you,
Yeah.
I'm going to offer you another sea cucumber. You sure you don't want one, Justin?
I do not want any. Get away
You
from
sure you don't want a sea cucumber? They're really nice, mate. You enjoyed them so much on last week's show. Come and join us on the XLBS show tomorrow. Maybe I'll still be trying to convince Justin D to see a cucumber.
Eh.
Oh, I'm definitely going to get one.
Get thee behind me, Satan.
Wow, lovely.
Even the noise.
Lovely. But in the meantime, let's leave you today with Justin living as a Viking.
Okay, everybody, it is the time of day that you have been waiting for. It is time for myself to join the clan and become a Viking. Okay, so helmet. Oh, okay, it echoes. Chainmail, am I going to need this?
Yes, definitely.
Am I really going to need... Okay, shield?
Yeah.
Okay, this can choke me. Okay, guys, so... Okay, guys, I am going to go and get all of this gear on, and I will see you in a moment whenever I talk to everybody about what it's like to be a Viking here. I am fully done up as a Viking, and I think I may have hooked my lead. I think I'm okay. So, how do I look?
You're fully set up in Norse Irish gear.
Ah, so it's actually quite nice for me then. So, I have to ask, how much does it take to actually get into this gear?
Money.
Oh yeah, just if you were looking at, if some of our viewers at home was sitting there going, I want to be a Viking.
When you first start, a group will normally lend you a load of gear to start you off.
So like me right now.
Yes. The tunics cost about £40 to make, something like that. The chainmail's the expensive one.
Yeah, this is pretty heavy, I have to say.
The chainmail's about £200. But no one expects you to have chainmail to start off with. The weapons will lend you as well. You just build it up as you go along. When I first started, I was a student and I couldn't afford anything, believe me. So it's not that bad as long as you slowly build up.
All right, well, the one thing I want to do now is actually have a little bit of a talk about what people get up to around the camp whenever you guys are doing a reenactment like this.
Okay. During the day, when the public are watching, everything has to be authentic to 1,000 years ago. So there's no modern things at all. I have to go around without my glasses. There's no glass bottles. Everything is done completely authentically. We play in character, but we'll break character straight away if we're talking to a child because otherwise it might scare them.
Of course.
Yeah. And we just basically live like they did 1,000 years ago.
I see. Now, pick out one or two of your best people here who do reenactments, because I would like to have a talk with you about some of the different gear that we're going to see on display here.
That might be a bit hard, actually, but these will have to do, I suppose. You know, there's Faya. She comes from Yorkshire.
Hello, my dear. So, how are you dressed today?
Currently, I'm dressed in low status, female, obviously, Viking pagan kit. So I've got my long dress and I'm dressed in quite pale colours because dye is expensive and I'm portraying someone who doesn't have very much money. So this would have been the natural colour that the wool would be, and then orange just comes from onions. It's not very expensive. I'm pagan, so I have a Thor's hammer and I don't have to have sort of all of my hair and my chest and my neck covered, as you would if you were Christian, but I do still have a scarf on because they still would have done that.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Who else do we have?
Well, we have a male warrior here.
I see. Come and join me, sir. So, how are you dressed today?
So I'm in mid-status kit, so as you can see I have a sword. These things weren't that common actually in the period that we're in. Owning one of these would be like owning a BMW. Okay, so they actually cost quite a bit of money to make and to have. I've got linings on the sides of my kit on my kirtle, and I'm wearing some rings, and I've got some nice necklaces on and stuff, so I'm sort of mid-status. I'm not a Jarl or anything like that, but I'm quite good at pillaging.
So basically, whenever you go a raiding, you come back with the goodies.
I come back with the gold, yeah, that's how it works.
Fantastic. All right, there is one last thing I want to do, now that I am fully kitted out. I would like some weapons training if you have a berserker sitting around loose somewhere.
I think I might be able to find exactly the right person for you.
Oh, were you at that training session? Sunday in the hall? Yeah, I was there.
That's the first one with her.
Oh, right, okay. Well, yeah, just a tap. I heard, yeah.
Did you get this too?
No, not really. I haven't paid, but I'm paying for it now.
Okay.
That way I take some. I don't know who's kids might be, but I don't know. So it's a week involved with the
Okay, so tomorrow it's going to be spectacular.
There might have been in the expo. And I had one where it came up last so I took it out, I put it all back. It'll make you run like you look good.
Well played.
Good game.
Victory! Hey!
Yeah.
I thought Tommy Cooper, so...
That's what I thought when I saw it, but then everybody thought, no, it's Tommy. She kicked off on. He went over to her, and the other reason I second
That's it.
One knee, he's down, that's it.
With my technicality.
That'll do you, man.
Valencia.
Skull.
Oh, that's good meat.
Sit there stroking your beards, both of them. That's the one trick that I didn't do.
But I mean, no, that's fine. Like, what's the nicest one for
Fuck Dick said you'll get played out. Well, I should head to it, so I think it's a game of choice. Hotel playing guys. But yeah, it's just like gaming table.
the shop?
Right here? Nice. Looks really awesome.
For the old casualties, a man up here there, Justin.
There's a counter in one of the sagas that says when the ranks are thin, the king must pay
Does it say anything about what?
Just saying that.
Does it say about what happens when your hair is thin?
That was a well played. That was
Well, that's on both parts, isn't it? Same principle with this.
Oh, did you just lose a leg? Very good. Take a bow, gentlemen, take a bow. We are rolling.
Okay, guys, so that's what it looks like when I fight Viking style. I am here with Grim, my opponent, Hey, Master Bladesman, thank you very much, sir.
That's okay. Very welcome.
How much training do you guys normally do for that? Because I have to say, the chainmail is heavy, the weapons are heavy.
Well, we have to pass very stringent tests before we do this. Most groups train at least once a week. The group I'm with train 4-6 hours probably once a week. So as a competitive fighting style, it can be very physically demanding.
Well, thank you very much. That was a fantastic fight.
Good, well done.
Everybody? Oh, yes?
You've done very well for someone that has only just picked up a sword as well.
It's in the blood.
Yeah, most blokes don't even get that far.
The one piece of advice, if you're ever going to pick one up, don't be scared of taking a hit, because that's whenever you lose.
Exactly.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.